sunshine, when without even thinking about it, I find myself stroking his head. He looked up at me to let me know it was all fine by him, and then he smiled. I promise you, he smiled. I felt his head pushing into my hand, felt the purr coming over him. His tail was trembling with pleasure. I know it sounds silly, but at that moment I felt so happy that I was almost purring myself. I looked into his eyes, and for the first time I could tell that he liked me, that at last he thought of me as his friend. I felt honoured. The next morning I met the Countess hurrying through the lobby. "Ah, Johnny Trot," she said, as I opened the front door to her. "I am late for rehearsals. All my life I am late. You will walk with me. I have important things I must say to you." It was raining, so I held the umbrella for her as we crossed the Strand and walked up into Covent Garden, past the barrel organ with the monkey who turned the handle, and the blind soldier playing his accordion by the fruit stalls. She stopped to pat the coalman's horse, who was standing between the shafts of his cart, hanging his head in the rain and looking thoroughly miserable and soaked through. The Countess berated the coalman soundly when he came out of the pub, and told him in no uncertain terms that he should put a blanket on the horse in such weather, that, in Russia, they would have treated horses properly. The coalman was speechless, too stunned and shamefaced to argue. We walked on. "I have much to thank you for, Trot. Prince Kaspar is a very happy cat, happy to be in London, and when Kaspar is happy, I am happy. I sing better when I know Kaspar is happy. This is true. You know how I know he is happy? Because he smiled at me this morning, and this does not happen very often. So I know you must look after him very well." I was about to tell her all about Kaspar smiling at me the day before, but she was in full flow, and I didn't dare interrupt her. "Because you make us both so happy, Johnny Trot, I wish to invite you to the Magic Flute, to the opera at Covent Garden tomorrow evening. It is the first night. You will come?" I was so taken back I didn't even think to thank her. "Me?" I said. "Why not? You will sit in your best seat, dress circle. You are guest of the Queen of the Night." "I'd really like to, Countess, honest I would," I told her, "but I can't. I'll be working. I don't finish till 10 o'clock. "Ah, don't worry. I fixed this already with the manager at the hotel," she said with the imperious wave of her hand. "I told him you do not work tomorrow. You have the whole day off." "But you've got to be smart to go to the opera," Countess, I said. "I've seen all the grand gentlemen and ladies. I haven't got the right clothes." "Ah, I fix this for you too, Johnny Trot. You'll see I fix everything." And so she did. She hired me a suit to wear, the first proper suit I ever put on. I could hardly believe it when I found myself the next day standing in front of her in the sitting room, all washed and brushed up, while she adjusted my tie and collar. I remember that I was looking up into her face, and all I wanted to do was call her mother, to hug her tight and never let go. She frowned. "Why do you look at me like this, Johnny Trot?" she said. "I think that maybe you have tears in your eyes. I like this. You are a boy with feeling, so you will be a man with big heart. Mozart had a big heart. He was the greatest man who ever lived. A little mad, maybe, but I think you have to be a little mad to be great. I love this man. I tell you something, Johnny Trot. I have no son, no husband. I have only Prince Kaspar and my music. But if I had a husband, he would be Mozart. And I say something else. If I had a son, I would want him to be like you. This is the truth now, Johnny Trot. I take your arm and you will walk me to Covent Garden. Be proud, Johnny Trot. Walk like Kaspar. Walk tall, like you are the prince, like you are my son." This time, when Mr. Freddy saw me coming and raised his top hat, there was no mockery in it whatsoever, only open-mouthed astonishment. The Savoy lobby fell silent in utter disbelief as we strode through. I felt about 10 foot tall, and that's how I continued to feel as we made our way up through the Covent Garden market to the Royal Opera House. I should like to be able to say that I remember every moment, every note of my evening at the opera, but I do not. It passed in a blur of wonderment. I do, however, have a very clear memory of Countess Kandinsky as she made her first entrance as Queen of the Night, the rapturous applause that every aria she sang, and the standing ovations for her at the final curtain. In fact, I was so proud of her, so carried away by it all, that I stuck my fingers in my mouth and gave her the loudest, longest whistle I could, ignoring the disapproving looks all around me. I knew full well it was not the thing to do, but I just didn't care. I whistled again and again. I stood and clapped until my hands hurt, till the curtains closed for the last time. As we walked back to the hotel together later that night, I was so laden down with all the flowers she had been given that I could scarcely see in front of me. Kaspar was waiting for us when we got back, yowling around until I gave him some milk. The Countess went straight to the piano, her hat still on, and began to play softly. "This I play every night after the opera before I go to bed. It is Lullaby by Mozart. It is beautiful, no? Prince Kaspar, he likes this very much." And as if to prove it, Kaspar leapt up on the piano to listen. "Johnny Trot," she went on, still playing, "do you think they like how I sang tonight? You must tell me the truth." "Of course," I told her. "Didn't you hear them?" "And you, Johnny Trot, do you like how I sing?" "I never heard anything so wonderful," I said, and I meant it. She stopped playing and beckoned me over to the piano. She reached up and brushed the hair from my forehead. "You go now, Johnny Trot. It is very late." The next day, Mr. Freddy and all the others on the servants' corridor teased me mercilessly. "Who's la-di-da, lad, then?" they called after me. La-di-da, whatever they said. I didn't mind. I was on cloud 9. During our walk to the park that morning, I